There comes a time in every chosen one's journey where silence becomes heavy, secrets become suffocating, and the inner battles you never tell anyone begin to weigh down your spirit. Many chosen ones walk through life with a brave face, strong, resilient, unshaken in front of people, but privately they wrestle with insecurities they fear even admitting to themselves. But hear me clearly, God cannot heal what you pretend does not exist. The insecurities you hide become the chains that slow your destiny, but the insecurities you bring before God become the doors that open your freedom. You were not chosen because you were perfect. You were chosen because God knew your imperfections would one day reveal His glory. This message is for the chosen one who has been carrying silent pain, hidden fear, and quiet confusion. It is for the one who smiles brightly while bleeding internally. It is for the one who encourages everyone else but goes home feeling empty. God sent you this message because what you hide becomes your prison, but what you surrender becomes your strength. Today we will break down the 9 insecurities you should never hide from God, because your honesty with Him is the very thing that unlocks divine protection, elevation, clarity, and healing. Listen closely. One of these will speak directly to your spirit. 1. The insecurity of feeling unworthy of your calling. A chosen one often lives with a quiet, hidden fear, the fear of not being worthy of the assignment God placed upon their life. You hear the whispers of purpose in your spirit. You sense the weight of destiny on your shoulders, and yet a part of you still asks the same question over and over. Why me? Why would God choose someone like me? You examine your past, replaying mistakes, wrong turns, and broken chapters as if they are evidence that God must have made a mistake. You look at your flaws and think they disqualify you. You look at your weaknesses and assume they diminish your calling. But what you don't realize is that every chosen one God ever used struggled with the same insecurity. Moses doubted his speech, Jeremiah doubted his age, Gideon doubted his strength, and yet God still called them. When you hide this insecurity, you begin to sabotage yourself without knowing it. You step back when God is telling you to step forward. You silence yourself when you were meant to speak. You delay the assignment because you're questioning whether you deserve the assignment. But God never asked you to show up perfect. He only asked you to show up willing. He never asked you to bring confidence, He asked you to bring obedience. The calling on your life is not rooted in your perfection, it is rooted in His purpose. God chooses the unqualified so His glory can be seen, not yours. He chooses the imperfect so His power can be revealed, not yours. Your insecurity becomes dangerous when you try to hide it instead of surrendering it. God cannot heal what you conceal. Bring your doubt to Him. Bring your uncertainty to Him. Bring your questions to Him. He already knew every weakness you would have before He called you. Still, He called you. That alone is your confirmation. 2. The insecurity of not knowing what comes next. Chosen ones carry a silent fear that they rarely ever admit, the fear of the unknown. You want to appear strong. You want people to believe you always know where your life is heading. You want to look like you walk with perfect clarity and unshakable direction. But deep inside, there are days where you feel lost, uncertain, and overwhelmed by the very path God placed you on. There are nights when you lie awake wondering if you're making the right decisions, if you're in the right season, if you're even on the right road. And yet, because chosen ones are used to being pillars for others, you bury the insecurity instead of expressing it. But here is the truth. God never required you to know everything. He required you to trust Him through everything. Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is choosing to move even when the next step is invisible. When you pretend you have everything figured out, you close yourself off from divine guidance. God cannot direct a heart that refuses to admit uncertainty. Sometimes God withholds clarity not to punish you, but to sharpen your dependence on Him. When you finally confess, God, I don't know what to do, that is the moment heaven responds. When you admit you're unsure, God releases the certainty you need. When you stop acting like you have the blueprint, God begins to reveal the blueprint piece by piece. Uncertainty is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are living a life that requires faith. And as a chosen one, faith will always be your compass. Hiding your insecurity creates unnecessary pressure. It makes you chase answers instead of chasing God. But when you reveal your fear of the unknown to Him, He replaces anxiety with direction. He steadies your spirit with reassurance. He reminds you that even when you don't know the path, He is the path. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You only need the courage to take the next step He shows you. 3. The insecurity of feeling emotionally drained. Many chosen ones carry emotional weight so heavy that if people truly understood it, they would marvel at your strength. You pour into others even when your own heart is empty. You advise, encourage, support, uplift, and heal people who never ask if you yourself need healing. You are the strong friend, the spiritual anchor, the helper, the listener, the one others lean on. And because of this, you often hide your exhaustion, believing that admitting emotional fatigue would make you appear weak or unspiritual. But chosen ones are not superhuman. You feel deeply, love deeply, and hurt deeply. Emotional exhaustion is one of the most common yet most hidden insecurities among chosen ones. You don't want people to worry about you. You don't want to disappoint those who rely on your strength. You don't want to appear incapable, so you smile when you're breaking. You help others carry their storms while drowning in your own. But God cannot refill a cup you pretend is full. He cannot restore the strength you refuse to admit you've lost. Even Jesus withdrew to rest. Even Jesus stepped away from crowds to recharge. Even Jesus needed solitude. If the Son of God Himself embraced moments of emotional limitation, why do you feel guilty for needing rest? Hiding emotional fatigue leads to spiritual burnout, and burnout leads to disconnection. This is why God invites you to bring your exhaustion to Him. He wants your honesty, not your performance. He wants your vulnerability, not your mask. Emotional honesty opens the door for supernatural renewal. When you confess your tiredness to God, He exchanges your fatigue for strength, your overwhelm for peace, your heaviness for His presence. The chosen ones who thrive are not the ones who act strong. They are the ones who surrender their weakness to God and allow Him to fill the empty places. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to seek replenishment. Your calling does not require your burnout, it requires your wholeness. 4. The insecurity of feeling misunderstood. A chosen one walks a path that is often lonely because your spirit is wired differently. Your vision is ahead of its time, and your sensitivity is far deeper than the average person. This leads to one of your most painful insecurities, the insecurity of feeling misunderstood. People misinterpret your intentions. They misunderstand your silence. They misread your passion. They label your uniqueness as strangeness. They question your decisions because they cannot see the conversations you have with God in private. And while you appear unbothered externally, internally it hurts deeply to be misunderstood by people you care about. There are moments where you ask God, "Why did you make me different? Why couldn't I just be like everyone else?" You wonder why your heart functions differently, why your mind perceives things others overlook, why your spirit feels things others cannot sense. You feel like an outsider in your own environments. You feel like your difference isolates you. But here is the truth. You are misunderstood because you were made for a destiny that others cannot comprehend. People cannot understand what they were not anointed to carry. Never hide this insecurity from God. He knows the battles you fight in silence. He understands the tears you don't speak of. He hears the questions you whisper in the dark. And although the world may not understand you, God understands you completely. He crafted you intentionally. Your difference is not a flaw. It is a divine signature. The very qualities that make people misunderstand you now are the qualities God will use to elevate you later. Your uniqueness is protection. Your isolation is preparation. Your difference is evidence that you are set apart. When you reveal your insecurity of being misunderstood to God, He reassures you that you were never meant to fit in. Chosen ones are not designed to blend. They are designed to stand out. One day, the very things that made you misunderstood will be the things that make you unstoppable. 5. The insecurity of your hidden weaknesses. Every chosen one has private struggles, weaknesses, habits, temptations, emotional wounds, or patterns they fear revealing. These weaknesses create insecurity because chosen ones feel the pressure to appear spiritually strong at all times. You want people to see your glow, not your battle. You want them to see your strength, not your scars. You want them to see your anointing, not your vulnerability. But the truth is, your hidden weaknesses weigh heavily on your spirit because hiding them gives the enemy a foothold. Anything you conceal becomes a doorway for spiritual attack. But here is the truth most chosen ones forget. Your weakness does not disqualify you. It is the very place where God plans to show His power. Paul said, "When I am weak, then I am strong," because he understood that revealing weakness invites divine strength. God does not expect perfection from His chosen ones. He expects surrender. Yet many chosen ones fear opening up to God about their weaknesses because they feel ashamed, guilty, or unworthy. They think God wants their strength, but God actually wants their struggle. When you pretend to be flawless, you prevent God from transforming the areas that need healing. Weakness that is hidden cannot be healed. Weakness revealed becomes a doorway for breakthrough. The enemy thrives in silence. God works in surrender. Your weakness is not a sign that you are spiritually inadequate. It is a sign that you are human. And God specializes in using imperfect humans to fulfill perfect purposes. Surrendering your weakness does not mean exposing yourself to everyone. It means exposing yourself to God. It means admitting, "Father, I cannot overcome this alone." It means allowing Him to turn your weakness into your testimony. The battles you overcome will become the wisdom you share. The chains you break will become the freedom you teach others to walk in. What you surrender becomes strength. What you hide becomes bondage. This is why God calls you to bring every weakness, every flaw, every hidden struggle into His light, so He can transform it, redeem it, and use it for His glory. 6. The insecurity of feeling behind in life. Many chosen ones silently carry the painful belief that they are behind in life. You watch others achieve milestones, marriage, success, opportunities, financial breakthroughs, recognition, and you wonder why your journey seems slower, harder, or more complicated. You compare your timeline to people who are not even called to the kind of destiny you carry. You look at where you expected to be by now, and a quiet disappointment settles inside your heart. It makes you feel like you're late, like you missed something, like you're behind everyone else. But what you fail to realize is that chosen ones do not operate on the same schedule as the rest of the world. Your journey is not linear. It is strategic, spiritual, and divinely orchestrated. While others rush ahead, God is working on you in ways that are unseen. He is strengthening your character, sharpening your discernment, expanding your patience, and preparing you for responsibilities far greater than the average person's. The delays that frustrate you are actually divine protections. The seasons that feel quiet are seasons where heaven is constructing the foundation for your future. Yet, when you hide this insecurity, it festers. It turns into silent discouragement. It steals your joy. It blinds you to progress you've already made. But when you bring this insecurity to God, He reminds you that His timing does not submit to human calendars. He shows you that you are not late. You are being prepared. You are not slow. You are being shaped. You are not behind. You are being positioned. Every chosen one has a season where they feel like nothing is moving. But what you perceive as stagnation, God sees as preparation. Some blessings require maturity. Some promises require pruning. Some breakthroughs require isolation. And some destinies require time. Time to develop, time to heal, time to grow. God is not withholding blessings from you. He is aligning them with the perfect moment when you finally arrive. It will make sense why He made you wait. What took others months may take you years, but what God gives you will be bigger, stronger, and more enduring, because it was built on divine timing, not human pressure. 7. The insecurity of past trauma still affecting you. Chosen ones often carry deep wounds from the past, pain from childhood, betrayal from people they trusted, heartbreak from relationships, disappointments that never fully healed, losses that left emotional scars. You try to move forward. You tell yourself you're fine. You tell yourself you've healed. But sometimes the memories still sting. Certain situations trigger old emotions. Certain voices remind you of past hurt. Certain disappointments reopen old wounds. And although you appear strong, part of you fears that the trauma of yesterday still has power over your present. This insecurity is heavy because chosen ones feel pressure to be healed, to act strong, to rise above everything they've endured. You don't want people to see how deeply those old wounds affected you. You don't want God to think you're ungrateful for how far He has brought you. But hiding trauma does not erase it, it traps it, it keeps you reliving cycles you don't understand. Trauma that is unspoken becomes trauma that is unhealed. God does not expect you to pretend you are fully healed when you are still bleeding internally. Healing is not a moment. It is a process. It unfolds layer by layer. And God is not intimidated by your pain. He is not disappointed by your wounds. He does not reject you because you are still tender in certain areas. When you bring your trauma to Him honestly, He begins to touch the parts of you you've been hiding. He begins to restore what was broken. He begins to rebuild what was damaged. He begins to turn your scars into testimonies. The enemy wants you to hide your trauma so you stay trapped in it. But God wants you to reveal it so He can transform it. Your pain has purpose, but only when surrendered. Your past does not disqualify you, it prepares you. Every wound becomes a well of wisdom. Every scar becomes a source of strength. And one day the pain you survived will become the hope you give to others. But first you must be honest with God about what still hurts. 8. The insecurity of fearing disappointment. Chosen ones often fear disappointment more than anything else. You fear praying boldly because you fear what will happen if God says not yet. You fear dreaming big because you fear heartbreak. You fear hoping again because the last time you hoped, things didn't go the way you imagined. You fear trusting people because past relationships let you down. You fear trusting opportunities because past promises broke. So you shrink your expectations. You silence your desires. You pray small prayers, not because you lack faith, but because you fear being hurt again. This insecurity keeps many chosen ones spiritually paralyzed. It keeps you from believing fully. It keeps you from stepping into what God has for you. It makes you cautious when God is calling you to be courageous. But the truth is, disappointment is not destruction, it is redirection. God does not allow a closed door unless it is protecting you from a future you cannot see yet. He does not allow something to end unless something better is being prepared. When you hide this fear from God, it limits your relationship with Him. You begin to pray safely. You avoid asking for what you truly desire. Your faith becomes restricted by your memories instead of expanded by God's promises. But when you bring your fear of disappointment to God, He strengthens you. He teaches you that your heart is safe with Him. He reminds you that He does not disappoint. He reroutes, he refines, he rebuilds, he replaces, he restores. Every chosen one must reach a point where you choose faith over fear. Not because fear disappears, but because God becomes bigger than the fear. When you admit this insecurity, God begins to show you that even when circumstances disappoint you, He Himself never will. Every delay has purpose, every disappointment has instruction, every loss has compensation. God cannot bless a heart that is afraid to hope, and He cannot open doors for a spirit that is afraid to knock. Bring Him your fear of disappointment, and He will turn it into bold, unshakable faith. 9. The insecurity of feeling alone on your spiritual journey. Even when surrounded by people, chosen ones often feel alone. You feel spiritually isolated because your calling is different, your sensitivity is deeper, your understanding is sharper, and your spirit picks up on things others overlook. You experience battles no one knows about. You fight warfare others cannot see. You walk in levels of awareness that make you feel like you don't fully belong anywhere. You can be in a room full of people and still feel spiritually distant. This loneliness is not physical, it is spiritual. But chosen ones rarely admit this insecurity. You fear people will misunderstand you. You fear they will think you are dramatic, overly sensitive, or too spiritual. So you carry the isolation alone. You pretend to be fine. You show strength externally while feeling disconnected internally. But God does not want you to hide this loneliness. He wants to walk with you through it. Loneliness for a chosen one is not punishment, it is preparation. God separates you so He can speak to you clearly. He isolates you so He can refine your purpose. He distances you from the crowd so you learn to depend on Him, not on people. What feels like abandonment is actually alignment. What feels like emptiness is actually elevation in disguise. When you admit your loneliness to God, you open your heart to His comfort. His presence becomes your companion. His voice becomes your reassurance. His love becomes your anchor. You discover that you were never truly alone. You were simply set apart. And being set apart is a mark of calling, not rejection. It means God trusts you with spiritual depths that others are not yet ready for. It means your spirit is being trained for greater assignments. It means heaven is preparing you for influence, responsibility, and impact. Your loneliness is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that something is chosen about you. And when the season shifts, God will bring the right people, the right connections, and the right support at the right time. Until then, your solitude is sacred, and God is closer than you think. This is the Zillion Mind Channel. If this message reached you at exactly the moment your spirit needed it, I want you to do 2 things. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another divine message crafted for your journey, and then go to the comments section and type 1111 as a sign of alignment, blessing, and confirmation that God is speaking directly to you in this season. May divine clarity, healing, and elevation follow you from this moment forward. Thank you for watching.